but it's less under the thumb of the government than the government draft. You'd agree with me?
That might be the case. Even that needs refinement, doesn't it?
Do you agree with me on that?
That needs refinement then.
Do you agree with me on that? Do you agree that a government selection panel which is six politicians?
I don't agree with you.
Do you agree with me, Karti? The government selection panel which is 6 politicians, 2 judges, 1 president of the National Academy of Sciences and the cabinet secretary cannot be objective and neutral vis-a-vis the politicians. You agree with me on that?
No, you trust the government with a nuclear button. Why won't you trust the government with this?
Good. Okay. Point taken, Karti. I take your point. I'm getting a response from Karti Chidambaram. You trust the government with a nuclear button. Why wouldn't you trust them in having some control over the Lokpal? Yes. Sonal Mansingh.
The two are not the same. Very simple. I mean, the analogy is wrong. And also, let me talk like I'm a common person. I'm not a lawyer, nothing. But the standing, sitting, sleeping committees worry us, number one. Number two, nobody is denying that Parliament is supreme and they are the lawmakers, of course. But people have been led the wrong way. First, by arresting Anna Hazare and then releasing and then this and then that. And people have seen through all the games. As I keep saying, I'm very happy. Bharat Mata ki jai, Vande Mataram, everything that was considered to be rightist, saffron, everybody's doing it now. Gandhi
no, that's not an argument. No, one second. Sonal Mansingh, I want to come in right there. I will come in right there. I'll come in right there. I will come in right there. I have an observation.
Bill as strong as it can be.
I have an observation to make. There is no right or left or center. And let it be clear, there should be absolutely no attempt to say the fight against corruption is a legitimization of the right. I'm getting it, Harsh Mandar. I'm putting it right here. The fight against corruption is not a legitimization of the right.
Come back now to the center, to the objective point of view.
Objective is corruption.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's not give it any other overtones. I'm very clear. Harsh Mandar, I'm coming to you, Nirmala.
I'm saying that the overtones have been washed away. They've been washed away now.
The fight against corruption, the fight against bribery is not a legitimization of right or left or top or bottom or center. The fight against corruption is the fight against corruption. Nirmala, you want to respond? Coming to you, Harsh Mandar. Harsh Mandar, give me a solution tonight.
Right. No, I feel that the government made a great mistake by not bringing in opposition parties, not having a much wider kind of consultation. I think they've come up with a very weak law, and especially because if you don't have an independent Lokpal, how can people have faith that it will do the task that is set out to do? The only problem is the claim of the Jan Lokpal group that only their draft in all its perfection will have to be accepted. I think that is the only problem. And Nirmala spoke about her reservations. I share most of those reservations, but most of all, the reservation is about having one body which controls judges, parliamentarians, the entire bureaucracy, grievances. It will be too powerful. It is dangerous to democracy. So we need a strong Lokpal, but we have to discuss the details further.
I think you're right.
And that's what I think everybody needs to. The government needs to work much better, but so does the team, Anna.
No, I think you're right. I think you're valid and right. Neither side is perfect, we know. But the good start, withdraw, debate, reintroduce. That's just, is it a possible argument? Nirmala wanted to rebut Karti Chidambaram. 1 minute. Nirmala wanted to rebut Karti Chidambaram. Lest I be accused of bias, I'm giving her opportunity, then I'll come to you, Karti. Yes, Nirmala, go on.
The point that you're raising about, the appointment of the Lokpal and all that is detailed. But before that, the claim that Mr. Karti is making, that after all we are struggling to keep with the process and procedures. I'm sorry, you yourself, in the sense Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi and many other spokespersons of the party, Congress party, have said, we set a precedent, but we don't want the precedent to be ever continued after that. In that, much before the bill is being drafted, you had consultations. Very well, you had consultations because you wanted to reach out. And later now you say, self-appointed group of people with whom we discussed, as though they were the only ones. And these are kind of comments which you are making, sir. My issue with this is, very well, you wanted to have a negotiation, you wanted to discuss, you had it. End of the day, what was the understanding? And after that, you included some points, so you claim, and then drafted a bill which has gone, which has not seemed to be received very well by the group with which you engaged 5 ministers. And today, they've reached a point where they are setting deadlines for you very well. If that was a part of understanding, say it all out. We don't have the government saying, especially when the parliament is in session, on the floor of the house, as to what exactly is the whole thing about. We don't seem to get an answer from the government, and we are constantly being told they are in engagement with a particular group, they brought a bill, and now there is a crisis in the country. And we are worried that even as the parliament in session, we are only getting varied voices from the government, from the spokespersons, about what is going on.
No, one second. Nirmala, is this all as mysterious to you as it sounds?
Nirmala
Sitharaman, is this all as mysterious? Is this all as mysterious to you?
In this crisis.
Is this all as mysterious to you as it sounds? Do you actually not know what's going on? Isn't it true that, one of the interlocutors had a meeting with Mr. L.K. Advani 2 hours back? The attempt is to soften the BJP. Once you soften the BJP, then go about the negotiations. So when you negotiate, you make sure the BJP is not lunging at you at every minute.
Before you go to anybody else.
Yes? Are these backroom talks going on or not?
Let me say that you are, as somebody in the media, you are well within your right to go about inferring what is happening. But I would want to know, as the parliament is in session, on the floor of the house, what is this government thinking about this whole crisis? What did they agree with them earlier? What were the kind of negotiation framework?
I'm sure you'll ask them tomorrow when Parliament starts.
Today, why is the country facing this kind of a situation?
We've made your point.
I think the government should have to say an official word rather than things happening through the media for all of us to infer and conclude. The pulse of the nation is something which this government is not understanding. The pulse of the nation is something which they would want to ignore.
Pulse of the nation argument.
That is not right.
I got your point. I'm sure you'll take it. I'm only saying, Mr. Sitharaman, I'm taking a last view from Karti Chidambaram. I am only saying, is it all as mysterious to you? Because I was just told that there's a meeting with the interlocutor had with the BJP leader 2 hours back, a top BJP leader, which means the BJP is part of the backroom negotiations which is going on. And we want to know the transparency into the process. It cannot happen behind closed doors.
The government should answer that or not. The government should.
Well, okay, government should answer that. Karti Chidambaram, your rebut.
Arnab.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't speak for the government. What is the way forward? Do we just keep doing postmortem on who we consulted first, who we consulted second, or how do we move forward? There is a bill in front of the standing committee. If anybody has got a view, they must go before the standing committee, and the standing committee can amend the bill and to add clauses or to delete clauses and place it in front of Parliament. That's where the BJP needs to air its views. And instead of finding fault on why a section of civil society was engaged with and why they were not engaged with in a formal way, but there was an all-party meeting called for. I don't want to get into all those nuances. The debate now is should a section of civil society hold the government to ransom and say they must pass the bill of their version, or we let the parliamentary process go ahead.
Okay, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can continue on this way.
Arnab, I think I have to correct a few things here. I need to correct a few things here. At the time when the government was engaged with the civil society, there was no all-party meeting. After they reached a deadlock with them, one odd letter came from one of the ministers, senior ministers, saying, what do you think on these few points? And then, of course, we chose to say, let the bill come onto the parliament, we'll come and speak about it. The government never thought of consulting the opposition.
The bill has come to parliament now.
I'm sure Mr. Karti Chidambaram knows about it, and he may correct me on it. But we, as an official spokesperson, I'm saying it here, no party was consulted at that time. They reached a point of deadlock, and then there was an odd letter which came, which said, what do you think on these few, points? I think we should lay facts on it. And second, even now, what we are saying is we'll certainly play a constructive role in the parliament,
the all-party meeting was
and we will certainly make sure that there is a
please table the bill. The bill has been tabled now.
Through. But I think it is important. It is important for us to understand that the government will have to explain. Mr. Karti Chidambaram correctly says that he is not a government spokesperson and he is not speaking for the government. Very well, point taken. But I think it is time, since the parliament is in session, that the Prime Minister comes out to say, why is this nation facing this crisis today? There is a complete lack of trust
I don't want to.
with the people with whom they engage, and the mass at large.
Fine. I don't want to only dwell at the past. The past is useful as an instruction for what to avoid in the future. But I must say this, Karti, I have breaking news. Procedures are meant for people. You say procedures. Procedures are meant for people and people are sovereign. I'm going to Navika Kumar, who has breaking news on a motion on corruption under 193 that's being tabled by the BJP tomorrow. I'm told, Navika, what can you tell us about that?
Well, Arnab, according to information that we are just getting in, the NDA will have a final meeting tomorrow morning ahead of the parliament session. But what we are getting to understand is there will be a demand by the BJP to move an adjournment motion under Rule 193. That is a discussion on corruption. If that is not allowed, then clearly no parliament functioning tomorrow is what is the sense we are getting from our sources.
Well, last point I want to make to Harsh Mandar and to Sonal Mansingh, non-politicians on my panel tonight. Harsh Mandar, is this going to help? We will have this, this parliament brownie point scoring.
Yeah.
Will it help?
Yeah, I feel that I feel it's too critical a moment in this country to play political football on this issue. I really feel, with good faith, let's start again with the negotiations. I think that's now the only solution. Let's start afresh and let's find the best possible bill for the country.
Okay, Sonal Mansingh, you think that's a good idea? Start afresh, withdraw the bill, get everyone in, get Harsh Mandar, Aruna Roy, Anna Hazare, Arvind Kejriwal all together and begin a new process of consultation. You think that works?
Absolutely, absolutely, and especially because it's Janmashtami and a new beginning has to be made for let the Krishna in the modern times reincarnate and clean up all the dirt and dust. I absolutely agree we should start with a new slate, with new resolutions and a new sense of being, a freedom.
Well, let's see what happens. To Karti, to Nirmala, to Harsh Mandar and Sonal Mansingh, it's been wonderful debating that with you. Capacity crowds at Ram Leela today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. The action will be in Parliament tomorrow morning, and Times Now will bring you all the developments on this story live. Thank you for joining us, and remember, please do be part of our movement in every way. No more bribes. Till tomorrow, good night and goodbye.